Hey, thanks for joining me for this blast from the past. This is an old, I called it a digital, okay, actually here's the name, Timeline Atlas of the United States. I made this in college for fun, kind of on my own for fun. And the origin behind it is I did a research project where I researched the state name origins for the 50 states of the United States. Where'd the name come from? What does it mean? That kind of thing. Interestingly, people aren't really sure what Oregon came from. It was Oregon. There are some theories. Anyway, and then I thought, man, this would be really neat as an interactive map. And this is back when like you had to make something interactive. And I could do that because Macromedia Flash existed and I loved it. I learned how to use Macromedia. It just made sense to me. I can't program, I can't code, but I could make things in Macromedia Flash and I could make them interactive, which is insanely empowering. And it was really embraced in the mapping community. It sure was embraced in the community of me. I loved it. And I could do all kinds of stuff. So with the death knell of Flash ringing throughout the land, I thought I would capture a quick video of this thing before nobody could ever see it again in the future, because you know it'll be murdered. Flash, so long Flash. Anyways, how I loved thee. So let's dive in. Oh, check it out. What's this? I updated it after it won the student award for cartography from National Geographic. I was very proud of that. I made this in 2003. 2003, so long ago. So this is, bear in mind, 2003, I was a student, so be gentle. And I didn't program, I couldn't program, so be kind to me. Let's see what we've got. We'll start with this timeline. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so I have this map of the United States with a pretty low res topographic view of the United States. And these are the 13 colonies. This is a historic timeline, and I'll walk through what all these mean. So these are colonies, and if you mouse over this, it says center of population. And for each year, here's the year, it'll tell you what the president was, what the flag was, and an urban-rural split ratio, which is kind of interesting, and just the idea of the population and some info. And of course, you know, this is before the president existed, and we had a bunch of flags. So let's see how this works. You can step through the timeline, and as you advance each year, you see these states being entered into the Union. You see territories, the name of that territory. Isn't that fun? And you can see that center of population start kind of marching westward. We see some trails. So trails that early American settlers used to go out west, they're labeled and color-coded. There's actually a category for them over here. We'll hit that in a minute. Anyways, that's what this is. You can see the presidents down there, their terms, the national flags, updates. You get new states, you get new stars. Ooh, look at this. The Civil War, 1861. And as you advance through this, you see West Virginia join the Union. Thank you, West Virginia. You see these trails still there. But instead of just clicking through this, what if I just hit play? Yeah, you can hit play. Check it. Bloop. And it'll just play through automatically. Macromedia Flash. Thank you. Thank you. And you can pause. But guess what? I can just scrub back and forth as I see fit. With my mouse, I'm just mousing over the timeline and it zips back and forth. Zip, 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 zip. Okay, enough of that. Let's see these state facts. State facts. Okay. So here, what do you think of this interface? I was really into these kind of folder-like beveled edges and semi-transparent gradients. See these kind of rounded gradients? Okay, enough of that. Michigan, my home state. Got a photo there that I found on who knows what, Alta Vista. You know, I don't know what I was using. I probably Googled it back then, 2003. It gives me some information about it, the population, its motto, its boy, I thought name or nickname. Where's the name origin? Am I missing something here? Industries, nickname, motto, statehood. Oh, name origin right there on the top. Boom. This is where you can see the origin of the name. This is really what drove the seed of this project in the first place, was the state name origins. Oregon. I don't know, right? And we have some theories. Anyways, so you could click around and just learn little factoids about these states. Isn't that fun? Okay. So name origins. This is a categorical look at the name origins. So one of the things I did for the research was to group them. I found patterns. You know, a lot of these names of states were named after, had a Native American name origin, or British, French, Spanish, and also things that were named after the geographic or geologic landscape that was around you, which actually correlates pretty strongly with the Native American name origins, because Native Americans named things after what was there, which totally makes sense, and I like that. And then lastly, there's a category here called other places. I'll just click it for you. This is places that were named for some other existing place. So let's walk on down the list. These are the states with a Native American name origin, British name origin, French. You get a kind of an interesting history of the growth of the United States and the different sources of, well, who was settled here and when did it settle. So it's kind of like this geographic pattern of history. Spanish. These are places named after individuals, which corresponds a lot with British. So British people named things after individuals. Native Americans tended to name things after what was there. Interesting. So there's name origins. Okay, and then lastly, we've got this chapter called Trails West. And you can mouse over these and it'll highlight it for you. This is 2003, people. Santa Fe Trail. And check this out. I rendered in an Esri 3D product that was available in 2003, an extension, I think. These little fly-through animations of this trail in 3D that give you a sense for the landscape that was traversed by these settlers headed west. Here's the Oregon Trail. You've died of dysentery, obligatory reference. Okay, California Trail. Good times. You can even replay that animation or restart it. Lots of trails, a little bit of information about this trail. And I even had a little how-to thing, question mark, and I made it a toggle button. It was a question mark and then it became like an X kind of thing, and I pointed to little things. This would have been a new layer in the Macromedia Flash source file, the FLA file, where I had an overlay that I just showed or hid. Click here to exit this help session. Interesting, huh? Let's see what timeline looks like here. Boop. Yeah, little call outs. Hey, do this, do that. You know, I suppose I was a little bit more dedicated to documentation back then. Good for me. What happened? What happened to me? Okay, that's the Timeline Atlas. Made that in 2003. Thank you for your patience and your gentle understanding for the time and the technology in which this was made. Okay, have a great day. Goodbye.